welcome back to MobilityWOD. This is Kelly Starrett. I want to talk to you about something we call a pelvic fault or a pelvic tweak. And what ends up happening sometimes when athletes, let's just say, fall down, for lack of a better word, sometimes you're like, something's off, right? Okay, so Margaret was flipping up, working on not handstand push-ups, just handstands, which is a reasonable thing to do, but you got...
Me and the wall collided.
Okay, upside down,
and the floor.
And then you fell on the floor,
yes.
right? Okay, so this happened when?
Thursday.
Okay, and you feel off.
Yes.
Right, and you're like, and what's happening with your symptoms?
Numb. My leg is starting to go numb. My back hurts.
Okay, so here's the deal. You work for MobilityWOD. You have taken a crack at fixing this.
Yes.
You've done some easy motion, right? I've seen you move, but it's not right. So here's what we want you to do. When this happens to you, your athletes, one of the first things we want to check is to make sure that your pelvis isn't cattywampus, which is a technical term for a pelvic obliquity. And you get a little rotated sometimes because you have two inanimate bones, the sides of your pelvis, and they're attached to the sacrum and then through the front, and sometimes they just get a little twisted. And what ends up happening is that for whatever reason, you get this little shear generator. And the first thing we want to do, especially after a trauma like a fall, is to say, hey, look, if something's not in the right place, let's put it in the right place. Then if it's not moving, let's get it moving. It's a very reasonable thing. So here's what we're gonna do. You could see a physio or a chiro on this very quickly, and they should be able to check this, and you should know, hey, I think my pelvis is out, or check my pelvis. Remind your provider, make sure I'm level. And then I'm going to show you a very old technique that we think everyone should be able to do, and it's called rotation counter rotation. But it's something that every coach and every athlete should have in their back pocket, because if you walk around cattywampus for a while, you're like, just hope that it magically goes back, okay? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to stand in front of Max here, but you can do this yourself in front of the mirror. And what I'm putting my hands on, hey J-Star, will you grab the skeleton real quick? Is that I've got my hands right on her pelvic spine. So this is the anterior superior iliac spine. And this, so right here, and I'm just falling off. And so what's happened is I've just dropped down, and you can see, don't be fooled by the rocks that I got, right? What you can tell is one of her sides is a little bit twisted. Can you notice this hand is higher than this hand, or this hand is lower than this hand? It doesn't matter. What matters is, hey, that doesn't look level. And so what I'm really doing with Margaret here was that we made sure her feet were straight and even. I put my hands right off the front of her bones here. This is the anterior superior iliac spine. I just fell off into that spot, and I'm using that as a landmark to see if I'm totally twisted, right? This is the anterior inferior iliac spine. It turns out this is where your rectus femoris attaches, right here. Okay, so you've got a lot of musculature, but I'm just falling right off the edge there. And then what you can see quickly is, hey, an athlete can put her hands on her thumb, on her pelvis, and mirror and be like, that's cattywampus, okay? Now there's a couple other things that we could check. Turn around for me, Max. On the back, she has a couple more spines. This is the posterior superior iliac spine, so the back of the iliac crest right here. And as I drop down, plump, I can use that as a landmark as well. And so that on her, if I come down, even just through her shirt, I come down and I just can fall into those little holes. What you found? You found something? And you'll notice that one of them is not in the same place as the other one. I'm guessing this one feels right and this one feels wonky, right? Right, and that's just based. Now look, I don't have to be a physical therapist to say, hey, look, that looks different. Left side looks different than right side. So, but if this was even, what I should see normally, if she stands on her left leg and picks up her right knee, go ahead and pick your knee up to your chest. Do you see how that drops down? Go ahead and stand up again, and it returns. On this side, go ahead and stand on your left leg. It doesn't drop down. You see how that's jammed on that side? It feels jammed on that side too, yep? Okay, turn around. So we know that there's an issue on this side. Now, again, if I was a physio or chiro, that's gonna be a lot more information for me. But remember, so I put my hand here, I was like, oh, what side did we say was jammed? This side was jammed. Okay, so what I now know is that, hey, this side's jammed lower than this side, or I have some rotational dysfunction, or this side isn't working. That's all I need to know. But we treat it the same way. So here's what you do, Max. On your back. Oh, you can tell she's hurting. You see that? How old are you, like 110?
Yeah, I feel like
that. Feels like that. Because what her body does is that when we have that rotation through the spine, she's creating a lot of shear through the back. One side is up and it's creating a lot of jamming mechanism, and then everything starts to turn on to try to manage that. Now, remember, we know she's in good health. We know that this isn't a disc problem that she's trying to compensate around from, right, and move around a problem. She had a trauma. So let's fix this, because sometimes we just get pulled out of position or fall, okay? So here's what she's gonna do. I could do a manual adjustment, but I need her to be able to manage this herself. So what she's gonna do is she's gonna bring both knees to chest, and this is called rotation, counter rotation, okay? And what she's gonna do is she's gonna push in one hand and pull in the other hand. So you're doing the same. Push in one hand, notice how? Push into this, there we go. Now take it, stay mid-range, take a big breath, belly button to spine, and build a nice isometric contraction for 5 seconds. Start to push and pull. Push and pull. So what we do is we don't worry about what side we're doing, we're gonna do both sides. What we're trying to do is have the hip flexors pull on one side and the hamstrings pull on the other side. Release, switch legs, switch sides. Big breath, push and pull. We just do that for 5, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Push and pull, big breath. And now she's pushing herself into mid-range. I don't worry about that. She's finding a range where she's feeling strong. That's fine. We just don't want to be too out. Mainly, you also notice that she's in a neutral position. Dave, you okay?
No, I'm good.
She's in a neutral position. Big breath in, push, pull. We're going to repeat this 5 times, 5 by 5 seconds. Left, right, left, right, left, right. If you need to do 6 times so it was even in your brain, that would be fine too, right? Because I know that's going to mess you up, Dave. So left, right. Big breath, push and pull, push and pull, push and pull. Good, let's do one more round. Big breath, build, push and pull. Trying to get that musculature turned back on, realign the pelvis. Then, what she's gonna do is she's gonna drop her legs down, and then just for the sake of this, I'm going to pull her legs hold, and she's gonna try to resist. I could also put a ball here, so she could squeeze something together. So, but I'm just gonna hold here. Hold, don't let me move you. Start to squeeze your thighs together. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Come on, Max, squeeze. Squeeze, 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 release. She does it, takes a big breath in the belly. Exhale, stiffens up, good. Squeeze again, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Come on, squeeze, push it. Come on, Max, squeeze. Good, we're gonna do that one more time, big breath. Exhale and squeeze, come on, squeeze as hard as you can. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I think I heard a little clunk in this left leg, and relax. Good, one more time. We do this 3 to 4 times, just building an isometric contraction. This is all her using her own musculature to realign everything. So I'm just holding her. Good, release. Now I'm just gonna check since she's laying down. Go ahead and bridge your butt up for me, Max. Just bridge your butt up, come on down. Good, come on down. I'm just gonna take her legs down. And I'm just looking to see if her legs are level, and then I can check pelvis is level, and it looks more level, but let's see what that looks like in standing. Okay, so go ahead and come stand up for me. What's that?
It does feel better.
It feels better. Now, did you see how she got up off the ground? A little better. Not like, oh, ska. Okay, so let's see if it's level. And what we've done here now is I come right off the spines, click, click, and lo and behold, level. Can you see that, Dave?
Yeah.
So more importantly, I didn't have to touch her. I didn't have to tug on her leg. I didn't have to do anything crazy. I didn't have to release anything. I just put her in a position where she can contract, relax, you know, contract, resist, and then little squeezes. Then I can say, hey, let's do some gut smashing. Let's do some QL smashing to soften and address the stiffness that's created. But does that feel better, same, or worse?
It feels better.
Or as physical therapists, we would say, how are your symptoms now as compared to?
It's much better.
That wasn't even a leading question. Now, more importantly, it's gonna happen that you're gonna run into your family with this push-pull. This is very gentle work, and it can be done multiple times. If she is still in spasm, goes out, she can now put herself back into position. We see that sometimes in our smaller people who aren't highly muscularized, like Margaret, that oftentimes that pelvis will get rotated a lot, and that's a really simple mechanism to put it back in. Now, obviously, if you try this and it doesn't work, go see a health professional. But understand that this is a very, very simple way to take care of a serious problem. Because now if you touch your toes and move around, it doesn't feel so sketchy, yes? Oh, you're free at last. It's like this stuff works. See you guys tomorrow.